Hi, it's Tricia. I'm back today with a special guest. I have Sharon DelConte here.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sharon. I am a clinical social worker. I've been in the business for over 40 years. I do a lot of energy work. I work with downloads from angels. I'm an artist. I just have a very rich background, and I'm glad to be on Trisha's show today.
Yes, great. So the reason I wanted Sharon to come on is because I have known her for a long time. I've known her for 20 years. I've been her patient. I have been her friend. We just have had a wonderful relationship. And she has developed a system with cards, which I'm going to be sharing with you. They're called Circus Cards, but they're very powerful and they're very useful in the area of coaching, in particular self-coaching. And I know that this is something that's really on the rise, is people want to be able to work within their own home what they can do right in front of them, and they need tools, and these cards offer really incredible insights when you use them. So today we're going to spend some time talking about the reason that she created these cards, what her purpose was, her intention, and just an overview of how these cards can really work in terms of a coach. You can use them with clients, they can pick a card, or people can just work with them on their own, which is also very interesting at this time. So, Sharon, can you tell me a little bit about what was the impetus to make these cards?
Well, I used to teach hypnotherapy across the country and into Canada and Mexico, and I was working with a group of people. Other colleagues, and we would talk about different types of psychology, different types of personal growth. And one of the things that we come up with is we used a lot of different cards. There's all kinds of cards out there. You have medicine cards, you have tarot cards, you have angel cards, feeling cards. You can pick out any topic because people are looking for something that they can hold in their hands, they can do privately with themselves and to gather more information about who they are, where they're going, and how to get there. So, what I did is something we've talked about very often going back to being a little kid. Used to be the old idea when you were in trouble or you got lost, the first thing you'd want to do in the old days is run away to the circus. The circus is a place where you would find bigger than life individuals and would be like a fantasy place where I wouldn't have to deal with my issues, but I would find more powers. So I just challenged myself that I could do a deck of cards on the circus theme about finding more of who we are and what we need by first looking outside of ourselves and then bringing that back inside.
I did not know that personal history you have with circuses.
hmm
That's really interesting because it's something that I feel like we're all familiar. I mean, most of us have been to a circus before and have, a familiarity, but there's so many complexities to the individual characters that are happening in the circus. I mean, when I got the cards, I was really surprised at how many opportunities there are in a circus to do cards.
I came up with 78 different characters, and you can see there's a whole bunch of them. And what I did was take a look at using a back door to the subconscious is kind of the groundwork of what I was coming from. I don't live in a circus. I'm not a circus character, so I can look at these pictures without defenses, without thinking it's personal. It's not about me, it's about these characters out there. And that is what my subconscious is able to put my questions and my answers out there for me to look at, and then I can reincorporate them again into myself.
Because the characters are so not personal, like you're
Mhm.
saying, that's an advantage because we don't identify often with the characters in the circus.
Our defenses are down. We don't see ourselves personally in there.
Got it.
So
Okay.
what I'm doing instead, there's two things. I'm looking at when we talk about the characters, we're talking about archetypes.
Mhm.
And each one of these is an archetype. An archetype is a symbol that we all identify, like the mother. We all know what mother is throughout the whole planet. And yet each mother and each experience and definition is very uniquely to the individual.
Mhm.
So you can project onto the general, which is, more relaxing and easier to do. And then my personal subconscious will interpret for me what I need to see. It's taking in the idea of Carl Jung, very
Okay.
famous Jungian psychology, and a lot of it is looking at symbols. He did a
Mhm.
lot of work on our dream states. For
Mhm.
instance, we dream deeply, and a lot of us remember dreams, and a lot of us don't, and only certain ones. But the dream state is a place for our brain to go deep into our subconscious and start to process what happened in the day or what is still left unfinished in our lives. And so we're using the symbols in a dream. You can dream fantastical things because a part of us knows it's not real, and yet we're experiencing things. If you could work with your dreams, if you could remember them, it would help you to bring that processing into our conscious living everyday life. And
Mhm.
that's what these cards are. They're like a bridge from our subconscious to our conscious living.
I want
Mhm.
to know what thoughts are, like what your intentions were with creating the cards. Was the intention to have people play with the cards and use the cards by themselves, or was it about practitioners, or how did you imagine the cards being used when you were creating them?
Well, ideally, it starts off with my own personal work and having a tool for myself. Like I mentioned, there's all other kinds of cards out there, but there are not cards out there that really are about me as an individual. I try
Mhm.
to find answers or I look to other people to read my cards, but these are set up very personally to awaken your personal insight. The symbolism in each card is rich. Like here's one here, and this is the elephant trainer. And
Mhm.
it's the elephant, and then there's a trainer, and then there's a lot of particulars in there, just little details. And my subconscious wants to communicate with me, so it will give me information on each symbol. I have to just relax, look at my own cards, and let my imagination do the bridge between my conscious mind and my subconscious to find answers. So it's set up so that how can I grow every day myself? And then I went on to use these in counseling with my clients, doing workshops, doing readings for other people, just guiding them. So it works personal growth for the individual. And you mentioned self-coaching, definitely self-coaching. And also, if you go into coaching, as a wonderful tool to use with other people, or even just as an individual to sit down and do it with my friends.
Okay, it's interesting because, as you know, I just completed a coaching program, and one of the areas that we were learning about is the metaphor. I know that that's something that's really strong for you as a person, and I think the metaphor application of the cards is really helpful. I feel like even in my experience personally, learning and also working with others, it's amazing how a metaphor can, like you said, bridge the gap. I didn't think of it before as bridging the gap, but it makes something clear that was previously unclear and giving us something tangible. I want to do something now with you, if that's okay. I'd like to try looking at one card together. How do you recommend picking the cards?
Well, there's a couple things. First of all, you just kind of put your energy into the deck. There's very much a cosmic energetic component to this. Things are not random, they're guided. And then I want you to think about an intention, like what do you want to find out right now? What do you want to address? Because we're looking at that all our answers are inside of us, and so are our questions. So get an intention, kind of put your energy into the card, and then you turn over a card any way you want. You can spread them out in front of you. You can just shuffle them like a deck. And when you flip over a card, pay attention to how you flip it, your orientation to it, if it's right side up or upside down.
Okay. Yeah, I just picked this one and I picked it upside down, the weight guesser.
The weight guesser. Okay, all right. And turn it right side up so that our audience can see the picture. Our minds do better when it's right side up. And you can look at the picture. It's an archetype. We know what a weight guesser is. And
Mhm.
you got all the little different things in that card. So the next thing I would ask, what was your intention? What are you looking for?
what my next step is. It's the beginning of a year, and I'm wondering what is the next step? What's going to happen next for me as far as where I'm going to be? And that's what I was wondering when I picked this card upside down.
Sure, absolutely. What you're going to do, because we're talking about a metaphor, which the word bridge is a metaphor, we're bridging our subconscious, our inner knowing, to bring it up to our conscious mind. You've got a lot of stuff going inside of you because you have a lot of insight, a lot of awareness, a lot of history, a lot of education, all kinds of things. And now you're just looking for a question of what's my next step? And it could be a very small step, it could be a very large one. So take a look at your card. First, take a look at it right side up, and then you just got to get a general picture of what that card is. And now turn it upside down again the way you drew it.
Mhm.
And you're basically asking your subconscious, what has this card come to tell me?
Mm.
So, do you get an overall feeling? We go with the overall card first, and then we'll go into any specific symbol on there that grabs your attention. Okay, what would you like to share?
So I'm feeling like this card is really communicating with me very precisely, actually. I'm very surprised by how much this card is making sense. I'm seeing that there are three bear characters, and I feel like that could mean three very important people in my life. And also, I was wondering about location, and when I turn this card upside down, it almost looks like a compass. So it's really connected to what I was thinking about.
Mhm.
And also the person here, the weight guesser, looks confused, like she's or he is questioning. This is exactly what I'm feeling. It's so funny. And it's looking at this bunny, and the bunny looks kind of dazed. And then the feet also are interesting because this is like traveling. To me, I see this and I feel like that's like going places. So I feel a lot of really interesting things. And the star here is interesting too, because to me, I always think of following my North Star. So this card is loaded with information.
Your personal insight. And it's very surprising. All this stuff just poured out of a card, and I didn't even give you any guidance except look at it. So, this is how it works. It's just so stimulating, and your subconscious is so willing to communicate with our conscious mind. So,
Wow.
brimming with possibilities. If you were a client or if you were by yourself or with a friend, you would go further. Name the three bears. What does that mean? And you would just keep going. And then the feet and the compass. Where is this compass pointing to? And you'll get specific answers because you're just so ready to talk to yourself. And the nice surprising part is because it is through the back door, your defenses aren't up. So all this stuff just pours out quickly. I love the cards. I always have this experience with everybody.
Well, what I would like to do is pick this up in our next episode because there's so much more to uncover and unravel.
Awesome.
But I want to thank you so much for introducing me and everyone to these cards. Everyone needs to come back for the next episode where we're going to be exploring more of the cards. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sharon, and I'll see you
Okay.
again soon. Thank you.
And you. Bye.
Bye. To learn more about Sharon's art and her cards, please head to wolfnow.com.